Hello everyone! In this video, we are going to continue learning about fractions. Let's get started, shall we? First, we are going to talk about simplifying fraction. Take a look at these three shapes. The first shape shows us the fraction 1 over 2. The second one shows us 2 over 4. And the third one shows us 4 over 8. Although these three shapes show three different fractions, the colored area of these three shapes have the same size. From that, we can conclude that despite having different forms, these three fractions have the same value and are the same. This is called equivalent fractions. Now, what is equivalent fractions? Equivalent fractions are two or more fractions written in different forms but has the same value. Take a look at these shapes. From the size of the colored area, we can conclude that these two fractions, 1 over 3 and 2 over 6, have the same value. Not only that, we can also conclude that 1 over 3 is the simple form of 2 over 6. And why is that? Let's find out. Simplifying fraction means to make the fraction as simple as possible. Simplifying can be done with two methods. Method number 1. Exactly divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2, 3, 5, 7, and etc. until we can't go any further. For example, simplify the fraction 24 over 108. To simplify it, we divide the numerator and denominator with the smallest dividing number, which is 2. So, 24 over 108, we divide 24 with 2 and 108 with 2, and we got 12 over 54. We can still divide it with 2, so 12 over 54, we divide 12 with 2 and 54 with 2, and we got 6 over 27. Now we can't divide it with 2, but we can still divide it with 3. So 6 over 27, we divide 6 with 3 and 27 with 3, and we got 2 over 9. Now we can't divide the fraction with anything except 1. So the simplest form of 24 over 108 is 2 over 9. Method number 2, we divide both the numerator and the denominator by the highest common factor, or HCF, of the numerator and the denominator. For example, simplify the fraction 8 over 12. First, we need to find out the HCF of 8 and 12. The factor of 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. And the factor of 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. From that, we can find that the HCF of 8 and 12 is 2 times 2, which is 4. Now that we know the HCF, we simply just have to divide the numerator and denominator with the HCF. So, we divide 8 with 4 and 12 with 4. From that, we got 2 over 3. So, the simple form of 8 over 12 is 2 over 3. Next, let's talk about multiplying fractions. Multiplying fractions are really simple. To do that, we simply need to multiply the numerator with the other numerator and the denominator with the other denominator. To make it simple, look at this formula. Here is an example. Mother has 3 over 4 of a cake. If mother served 2 over 3 of her cake to her guests, then how many parts of a whole cake that mother just served? The question asks us to find out how many 2 over 3 part of 3 over 4 is. To find it, we have to multiply 3 over 4 with 2 over 3. To multiply fraction, we have to multiply denominators. So first, we multiply 3 with 2. Next, we also have to multiply the denominators. So we multiply 4 with 3. And we got 3 times 2 over 4 times 3, which equals to 6 over 12. And we can simplify it to 1 over 2. So the amount of cake that mother served is half of a cake. Now for another example, multiply 2 over 5 with 15 over 20. The same as before, we multiply the numerators and we multiply the denominators. So it's 2 times 15 over 5 times 20, which equals to 30 over 100. And we can simplify it to 3 over 10. If you notice, from these two examples, we keep simplifying the solutions. We have to simplify fractions if possible, because by simplifying fractions, it will be easier to understand the simpler it gets. It is also possible to multiply fractions with a whole number. To do that, simply multiply the whole number with the numerator and only the numerator. To understand it better, take a look at this formula. For example, Didi has a rope that is 5 meters long, and 4 over 5 parts of the rope will be used to tie cardboards. How many meters long the rope used to tie the cardboard is? The question asks us to find how many 4 over 5 parts of 5 meters is. So, we need to multiply 5 with 4 over 5. To multiply it, we multiply the whole number, which is 5, with the numerator, which is 4. So, it's 5 times 4 over 5, which equals to 20 over 5, which is equal to 4. So, Didi used 4 meters of his rope to tie cardboards. Next, let's talk about dividing fractions. To divide a fraction, first we have to understand that fraction in itself is a division problem. For example, 4 over 5 is 4 divided by 5, and 1 over 2 is 1 divided by 2. That's why, when we multiply something with a fraction, it's the same as we divide that something with the fraction's denominator after we combine it with the numerator. For example, 4 times 1 over 2 is the same as 4 divided by 2, and 4 divided by 2 is the same as 4 divided by 2 over 1, because a whole number can be made into a fraction by putting a 1 as the denominator, because every number can be divided by 1. Which is why, to divide a fraction, we can simply change it into a multiplication by swapping the position of numerator and denominator. To understand it better, take a look at this formula. Here is an example. Heidi has 3 over 4 meters of ribbon that will be made into decorations. If every decorations need 3 over 8 of ribbon, then how many decorations that can be made? The question asks us to find how many parts that are 3 over 4 meters of ribbon that can be divided into 3 over 8 parts of that ribbon. To find that, we have to divide 3 over 4 with 3 over 8. To divide it, we need to change it first into multiplication by swapping the numerator and denominator's position. So, it will be 3 over 4 divided by 3 over 8 into 3 over 4 times 8 over 3, which equals to 3 times 8 over 4 times 3, resulting in 24 over 12 that can be simplified into 2. So, the amount of decorations that can be made is 2 decorations. It is important to note that when we change a division with fraction into multiplication, The fraction with the numerator and denominator that we swap its position is the fraction that we are dividing by, and nothing else with no exception. That's all for this video. Remember to follow the instructions that have been given. Thank you for watching and see you next time.